Stars blinking out of sight. First steps in space we say, but feels like a charade. Lights and wires everywhere, on a stage beyond compare. Gravity a distant thought, was this moment store-bought? Is this real or fantasy? Walking in a galaxy, lost in cosmic reverie. Dreams turn into parody. Footprints on the moon's face, questions we can't erase. Cameras at every turn, truths that we patiently spurn. Silent void, a grand display. Lines that blur and lead astray. In a vacuum, tales are spun underneath an artist's sun. Is this real or fantasy? Walking in a galaxy, lost in cosmic reverie. Dreams turn into parody. Is this real or fantasy? Walking in a galaxy, lost in cosmic reverie. Dreams turned into parody. Dreams turned into parody.
Hey, everybody ready for tomorrow? Because tomorrow is to be the alien invasion, apparently. Allegedly. Right, bit of a test tonight, just to see how things are going. I should be broadcasting on both widescreen and vertical. Although there doesn't appear to be anyone on the vertical stream now. There was earlier for 30 seconds, but there you go. Yes, this is the new office with its Christmas decorations up. I will go back to the other office at some point. I tried to put decorations in the other office, but too much woodwork. So we'll see how this goes. I quite like it though. It looks quite nice. What do you think? Not sure I like the light outside though. It gives you the impression that it's daylight when it's not. Anyway, we are ready for the invasion. So I really don't know what the hell is going on in the world, because Twitter seems to have gone mad for UFO photographs, UFO videos, and they're repurposing old stuff as well. So it's not all new. Like, for instance, that Manchester airport thing happened on the 19th of June. And you'd think if a UFO had genuinely landed in Manchester airport, I'm sorry. I've got this test, and maybe you guys have a test as well, but see when you look at a UFO picture or an alleged UFO picture or a UFO or what purports to be a UFO video or whatever. I have this this test is, do I laugh? If I laugh, that's it. I don't believe it. And then I'd start digging. I have an aura. Well, just a little bit, but it doesn't look too bad. It's because I've eaten my ready brick. I could put a proper aura around me, couldn't I? What could I do? So anyway, do you guys have a kind of test? Because, you know, a lot of it does look ridiculous. The Manchester Airport one, Manchester Airport wasn't shut. It wasn't shut at any point in June to air traffic. It did have a power outage on the 23rd, but this balloon was supposed to be on the 19th, and it's a balloon. You know, no matter how much lipstick you're going to put on a pig, it's still a pig, and that was a balloon. Almost certainly a mylar helium-filled balloon that had come down because it got cold, and then a bit of jet wash or something half hit it and it zipped up. So I can't see any problem. So Julie, good, thank you. Julie's been on vertical and it's going fine, so that's good. Excellent. Yeah, I think everyone has gone mad beats and tapes. I don't understand, and it's a bit out of character because I actually put a picture up earlier on Twitter, which I found quite interesting, and this I dug this up myself. I made that bar graph. So it would seem that the highest month for UFO sightings moves every year. Like, for instance, if and don't quote me because I'm not looking at the graph, but if 2004 was April, 2005 would have been May. Or the other way around, you know, 2004, it doesn't matter. But it moves, you know, 2006 would have been June. And that seems to happen every year, which is quite strange. So I'm wondering if that, and this is the month with the most sightings per year, right? You know, so for 2004, let's just say the most sightings were in April. In 2005, the most sightings by month were in May, and so on. So is there some kind of astronomical event that maybe follows this? Because I'm thinking something like Venus or Mars. I mean, Venus is the brightest object in the night sky. When Venus is up, it's brighter than anything else, but it's also quite near the sun, usually. So it might be quite interesting to correlate that with astronomical events and see if that's what causes that, because it is an interesting pattern. But generally, UFO sightings have been increasing, or reported UFO sightings have been increasing year on year. But is that something to do with things like we're putting more and more stuff up there? I mean, you know that guy Russ Coulthard, the kind of UFO journalist from Australia. He's made two massive gaffes last week. He posted a Starlink train as a UFO, and he posted something else that was a decried hoax as a UFO. So why are people so desperate for aliens? This is the thing. I mean, and I don't know if you've seen the one in our Bullhead in Arizona. So the village or the town of Bullhead is on a flat plain in a valley. The Colorado River runs along the bottom of it, and then it goes into quite a steep hill. And the photographs taken at night, or the video taken at night, it's almost certainly human activity, whether it be cars or off-road vehicles or people hunting at night or whatever with flashlights, or it's almost certainly, human activity that's causing the lights that are in that. And then the exact same pattern that's on the ground is reflected higher up. So that happens a lot. You see these Washington lights over the Capitol and things. It's a reflection of the street lamps. And you get that for a variety of reasons in cities, and especially at this time of year when the temperature drops, because you get temperature inversions. And if you've ever been up a mountain, you can see really pretty things caused by ice crystals and temperature and the reflection of sunlight on those ice crystals. And you get things called sundogs, where you see a central sun and another sun on either side of it, usually joined with a giant circular rainbow. I mean, it looks fantastic, but it's not an alien. It's a known meteorological thing, and there's an incredible. One of the things I found the other day that I didn't know about was a thing called ice pillars. And what happens is you get a cold, if you've got a cold atmosphere where ice is starting to form in the upper layers, it can reflect like a town or city below, or even off to the side. And you see these columns of light in the sky, which is quite impressive. But again, it's not aliens. And to go from unexplained phenomena in the sky straight to aliens, which a lot of people seem to do, is a really big step. I don't understand why everyone jumps to aliens, because we've got so much junk in the sky. There's so many satellites. There are 10,000 balloons released in the United States alone every year. 10,000 balloons. Some by accident, and a lot of them deliberately. And then you got to add all the drones that people are using, Chinese lanterns, fireworks. There's just so much that's put up into the air that the jump to aliens without even considering other, more relevant solutions, just it boggles belief. I don't understand that. And then, I mean, somebody posted something today, some girl going on about, she'd just like some peace, and if the aliens do invade, then she's on the side of the aliens because she'd like some peace and all that. And it's like, the people that are replying to her are replying as if, one, she's talking about the aliens as if there's proof that they're already here. Two, and the people replying are talking as if there's proof that aliens are already here. I can't find any evidence, any conclusive evidence that says there are aliens on this planet or have ever been on this planet. I mean, some guy says the Nazca mummies are real and it's been proven by peer-reviewed paper, but that's not the information I'm getting. The information I'm getting is that, the human bones that are in these mummies are 100% human DNA, and the actual mummies are crafted from a mixture of human bones and animal bones. So, why? Why? The Miami ones were ridiculous, weren't they? That was almost certainly some kind of mass hallucination or mass panic, Absolutely incredible. 10-foot tall aliens, taking over a Miami mall. It's just ridiculous. We'll see if it happens again this year. It might become a thing, 10-foot tall aliens go shopping in was it December? Was it just after Christmas, like Boxing Day or something? I can't remember exactly. But yeah, it'd be cool. Right. Oh, I was going to turn on my aura, wasn't I? Gunky. Not Gunky, Dread Eye. Wonder if I could. Wonder if I could turn on my aura. Let's see if it works. Let's see what we can do. An effect filter. Oh, maybe not. Oh, I could. Maybe it's different. Nah, I don't know where it is. Never mind. We shall carry on as it is. So, so I just don't get these people. I really do not understand why everything has to be aliens. I mean, I can understand wanting it to be aliens, right? Because then gives you a lot more to deal with when it comes to we're not alone in the universe. Blah blah blah. But really, even if it was aliens, how'd they get here? That to me, that's the biggest problem. How'd they get here? But what do you think? What do you guys think? You think we've got aliens, or you think there's any possibility? Think the government are hiding it? I saw what's her name, Anna Paulina Luna today, or I saw a clip from her, and she wasn't a happy bear. She wasn't a happy bear at all about the UAP hearings, which I've been mocking because, what is the point of these people turning up and saying nothing? And she made that point quite eloquently. She says they send us written submissions, we ask them questions, and they don't answer the questions. They're just wasting everybody's time and a substantial amount of money, because putting on a congressional hearing isn't cheap. So thousands of dollars at the very least, probably tens. So, they are just wasting people's time for what? For having a jolly. And I'm getting to the point that I'm really starting to dislike these people like Elizondo and James Fox, Jeremy Corbell, even George Knapp. And I thought George Knapp was an okay kind of. Thought he was trying to go at it quite reasonably, but even he seems to be all in on it now. That other weird guy, the lawyer guy, Danny Sheehan, I've got stuff to make a thing about him as well. I just don't trust him at all. They don't pass muster, you look at them, you listen to them, and they don't sound genuine. They just do not sound genuine. They all sound like they're on a stage and they're all acting. And I think they are. I think they genuinely are. I think that guy Elizondo is, I think he's still effectively working for the Department of Defence in some form or another. Because as they say, once you're in intelligence, you're never out of it, are you? Really? So yeah, I think what will happen is this will start to die down after tomorrow, probably, because the alien invasion won't happen. If it does, I'm going to look really stupid. But then again, will you ever know? Because, if an alien invasion does see, this is the thing, and these people seem to think that any aliens that come here would be more intelligent, probably, right? But less aggressive. Now, I don't know why. I don't know why anyone would think a top ranking predator or a top ranking species wouldn't be a predator and wouldn't be aggressive. Because all we need to do is look at the natural world, and all the top ranking animals are effectively predators. They're all carnivores and they're all predators. And everybody else is below them, really. And we have, because of our brain, have become probably the top predator if we have the luxury of having weapons. I mean, we can't take on a lion toe to toe, but give us a rifle or a gun or whatever, or even a spear, and we could take on a lion, you know, or at least have a fighting chance against it. So I think that does make us kind of top predator, especially since we tend to operate in numbers and use tactics to outwith these other creatures. So why wouldn't aliens be any different? Why would they be different? And this maybe goes back to the mouse experiment thing, because if you take away challenges and everybody becomes all peaceful and lovey-dovey and then do they just wither and die on the vine? Because that's what happened to the mice. You know, once all the challenges were removed and they didn't have to go and search for food, they didn't have to search for water, they didn't need to search for breeding space, they didn't need to search for mates or whatever, and they just withered and died. And you can actually see them, the society that we're in today, breaking into similar groups. You know, the beautiful ones that don't want to mate, they just groom and preen. They don't mate, they don't get involved in anything, they just stay in their little bit, eat, sleep, make themselves look good. And you see that. Then you see people that are other people that have aberrant behaviour, they're very aggressive, they're very angry, you know, striking out at people. And you see people that abandon and don't look after their kids. And you see all these things in human society, and all these things happened in that mouse society because everything was provided for them. And they didn't have to strive. So the roles broke down, their social cohesion broke down, and yeah, we are a much more complex animal, but ultimately, are we? When it comes down to it, are we really that much different from other social mammals? Who knows? Who knows indeed? Anyway, let's have a look at the chat. What have we got? Julie, unmitigated mind. He's seen some things himself that he's really no explanation for. Yeah. However, it did seem to be of human origin. Yeah, okay. Beats and tapes. I want it to be aliens, but no one can show me much proof. Kind of in the same boat, Beats. You know, it would be nice. I mean, I've loved the X-Files and all that kind of thing. I've always been digging through, you know, the paranormal, the supernatural, the aliens, conspiracies, that kind of thing. You know, cryptids, all that kind of stuff. And and I had a guy had a go at me the other day because I dig into conspiracies and cryptids. But he's a UFO nut. So I'm a nutcase. I'm a nutcase because I don't believe in UFOs without evidence. But I dig into conspiracies and cryptids. I don't believe in them either without evidence. I mean, it's like Nessie. You look into the story of Nessie, and you know, ultimately you come to the conclusion that it's not a dinosaur. There's not enough fish in that freshwater loch to sustain a breeding population of plesiosaurs. It could be a sturgeon. It could be a big sturgeon, because Loch Ness is connected to the sea. So that's definitely a possibility. And sturgeons grow to some size. So it's unfortunate, but it's not a plesiosaur. I really don't think. And then you get surprises like coelacanths, you know, supposed to be extinct for 65 million years, and one turns up in a fisherman's net. You know, the sea's probably got more secrets to reveal to us than anything, because it is so vast and we've explored so little of it. You know, I mean, the sea is massive, and we really haven't explored it to any great extent. So I think there's a lot more to be found there than there is anywhere else. Right, where else? Where are we? Espresso. The unmitigated mind says, I used to feel the same way until his want to believe started becoming a major liability in the era of such ubiquitous propaganda. Yeah, I mean, well put, mate, because it's just like, you know, there's so much of it out there. But then again, why? I just don't understand why so many people jump on this bandwagon. Or is it a bit like, I don't know, is it a bit like a 77th type thing? Are they even involved in this? You know, covering up black tech, covering up military equipment. I mean, because let's face it, you know, the military is always 10, 20 years ahead of civilian, probably slightly more in some respects. But yeah, and they do have a vested interest in keeping things quiet because they don't want their potential adversaries to know what they've got. And that's one of the reasons they probably wouldn't want to shoot down the drones. Now, somebody's reported that one of the drones in over Mildenhall got shot down today. I don't know. I don't know if it did or not. Nobody's confirmed or denied it yet. But if it has been shot down, you know, what did they use? Did they use a laser, or did they use some kind of... See, they really don't want to shoot these things down because, one, they don't know where they're going to land, and two, if you do shoot them down, you're giving away the abilities that you have when these drones aren't doing anything aggressive. And see, there's the other thing. If aliens are actually here, why wouldn't they turn around and make contact? You know, why wouldn't they show themselves? What are they frightened of? You know, apparently they can turn off nuclear missiles, so why wouldn't they make contact? Schnappelgrapple. Who's Schnapple? Oh, Schnappelgrapple. That's a cracking name. Normal humans tend to create problems and challenges for themselves, though. Well, they kind of do, yeah, but do you not find a lot of people are getting into the thing where the state provides for them and they sit back and watch TV and drink and do the bare minimum, and then, you know, they start to stagnate? And I've seen this with cops that retire, you know, because, I mean, a police officer does 30 years service then retires, and you can be retiring at 50. And I've seen some that just retire and don't do anything, and 3 or 4 years later, they're kind of dead. They're gone. And then you get the other ones that get in about things, you know, either get another job or have hobbies and continue to keep themselves active, and they live long into old age. You watched the Why Files Cryptid? Oh, I didn't. Did he do one on Friday there? Is he looking any better yet? I think he kind of was in some kind of rehab because he was disappeared for 2 weeks. And he actually said that although he'd been on vacation, it felt like he'd been in rehab. I think he was in rehab. I think he'd been... he maybe been hitting something because, well, Ben has his view on what he's been taking, and I'm not going to say it over the air because I don't want to cast nasturtiums at someone. But yeah, so maybe the guy's got problems, don't we all? I see the COVID inquiry has said that almost 20,000 small businesses in Scotland went out of business because of government restrictions. Yeah, I can believe that. I can account for 2 of them. Can't see, Schnapple Grapple can't see your comment. Was it removed? Schnapple Grapple. It's unlikely to have been removed by us. What would have happened, possibly, is that there is a list of banned words on YouTube, and it will hide the comment. So don't feel bad about it. These things happen. Yes, well that's true. They can alien our forthcoming alien overlords, starting tomorrow, can they be any worse than what we've currently got? Probably not. When you look at They Live, and really that's the kind of situation we seem to be in at the moment, because every advert, every newspaper, magazine, television program, even social media to an extent, has an underlying tone of, conform, obey, don't do the wrong thing. And then you've got that clown Starmer who basically just stands there like some kind of puppet going, "The filth of the law will fall upon you." He's like a badly drawn evil emperor from Star Wars, isn't he? Craft, unmitigated mind. The craft. He does put it in inverted commas. That I witnessed looked like an airplane from a distance. 2010. Looked to freeze in place. Kept watching it for several minutes until it came clearly into view over a hill. Yeah. Got into the car, followed it to the hill. Looked like Millennium Falcon. Cool. Did you freak out or were you calm? Says Julie. Turning slowly until it disappeared and a light flashed off in the distance. It was clearly man-made. Have you seen the, I think I used one of them in a thumbnail the other day. In fact, it was that one about drones over England. You seen some of the drones that the military use look like, they look like UFOs. They really do. That thing looks like a flying saucer. If you saw that from the side, you wouldn't see the wings, and it does look like a flying saucer, And the thing is, why do all the sightings look like flying saucers when the guy that started it all, Kevin Arnold, never said they looked like flying saucers? He said they were kind of a bit like Batman's thing, the kind of half round and then the cut in, the 2 cut-ins. So it kind of looked a bit like a bat wing or something. So that's what these things looked like, according to him. And he said they were skipping across the air like saucers, which tends to indicate some kind of weird, strange flying maneuver that they were doing. But and speaking of weird maneuver, have you seen the 6th generation fighters? Or are they 5th generation? Is it still 5th? But have you seen them like the F-57, not the Su-57 Felon and the F-22 Raptor? Have you seen the weird things that these things can do? They look like leaves blowing in the wind. I've never seen an aircraft, but aircraft can't behave like that. But because of the thrust vector and the complete instability, because the whole thing is just flown by computer all the time, it's like quadcopters. Quadcopters can't fly if the computer kind of wasn't controlling it for you. You'd have no chance of balancing out all the different forces in a quadcopter. But yeah, these the 5th generation fighters, the maneuvers they can make are incredible, quite incredible. Scary to watch. Schnapplegrapple says, had an odd experience that can't really be sure was real or not, as it was after a big night out. Well, there's always that. 5 a.m. on a Saturday night. That was a big night out. And me and an ex watched a giant white orb being escorted by 2 jets. It's tricky, isn't it? From the Solent to the Isle of Wight. Interesting. Is there another streaming chat with no one in it? Artifacting Harold. Yes, there is. There should be 2 streams. There should be this stream and that stream. I just, as I said, there should be this stream and that stream. I was thinking to myself, how the hell do I describe 2 streams when I'm appearing at the same time on both of them? So Harold, yes. Oh, yeah, you were talking to yourself. I can see it. It is live. Yeah. So one's vertical format, which Ben says I should broadcast in to get loads of viewers, which doesn't really ever seem to get loads of viewers. And one's landscape format, which is where most of the chat is, certainly. But yeah, I do see your chat in the vertical one, Harold. Thank you for jumping in and trying it. It should depend on what device you're using, what stream you got shuffled into. I think the vertical one's called Invasion Imminent, and the other one is called Are You Ready for the Invasion? The Alien Invasion, even. So, but thank you for coming along. If you saw the vertical one, it's got the Cult of UFO thing underneath it. This one obviously doesn't, because this isn't technically a Cult of UFO live stream. But I think I will try this now that it seems to have worked really quite well. I'm streaming on both landscape and portrait on YouTube at the same time, and my CPU is sitting at 0.3%, which is incredibly good. And I think the video quality looks fine. Don't know what you guys think. It's not high action. It's not a high action feed anyway. It's not as if I'm dancing about or streaming a, what's it called? Streaming a game. So I think it looks all right. Yeah, you'd probably get more sense that way, Harold, if you were talking to yourself, mate. So what was I going to say? Oh God. I don't know why. Apparently, it was something to do with Trump's. After Trump was interviewed by Rogan, somebody had predicted this, like in 2019 or something, that after Trump gets interviewed by Rogan, 39 days after that, there'll be an alien invasion. Well, after 39 days, as tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. It'll be quite interesting if there is one. Don't know what I was going to talk about now. I was going to say something, but I forgot. Age doesn't come alone, people. It really doesn't. I didn't get any sleep last night. It was a shocking night. I don't know why. I actually felt fine. I just could not fall asleep. Maybe because I was so geared up for the alien invasion. Could be. Oh, people are putting things about the alien invasion. You've seen the chatter about the alien invasion tomorrow. My prepper kit consists of popcorn. Yeah. Oh God, they're showing. See these people that show the lights over the United States Capitol. They're the street lights, because exactly. If you look at the street lights, they're spaced exactly the same. See the amount of people that show you reflections of, like, recessed lights in their flat and the windows and things like that. It's absolutely crazy. It's just, we all want to believe, but I don't think these people help. They don't help in any credible way. And it's like that guy that remember the triangular TR3B thing that they kept showing it in Belgium and whatever, and the guy said, yeah, it's a hoax photo. And now he's come out, right, after Elizondo used it in one of his presentations, and everybody's going, that's actually a hoax photo. So after that, the guy's now come out and said, yeah, I was paid a lot of money to say it was a hoax photo at the time. I don't believe you, mate. I really don't. And you know what? Even if you were paid a lot of money to say it was a hoax photo, your whole credibility is out the window. You know, you can't flip-flop like that. And it just puts their credibility completely out the window. And then you get people that post all this crap, like that guy Coulthard, you know, Russ Coulthard. And he posts things that have been debunked on numerous occasions. It doesn't do anybody's credibility any good. It doesn't do people that are actually trying to look into it seriously any good either, does it? So, well, it doesn't help people at all to do these sort of things. Oh. If it does happen, I suppose all we can do is sit back and watch, see what happens. Never watched District 19. That was quite good. They weren't that intelligent, the prawns. Yeah, it was quite good, that movie. I watched a movie last night that was quite funny. What was it called? Alien? Strange? Oh, God. I can't even remember what it was called. Probably because I was half asleep, but not asleep. I watched this movie last night, and it was actually all right. It was that guy that was. Do you remember that TV series Travellers? You know, the ones that could travel back in time and inhabit other people's bodies. Well, that reminds me, I've got a video to do about time because remember I had my revelation. I've still got to formalise that one. Beast and Tapes loves that movie. That's good. Can you tell me what that movie is? Oh no, District 9. Yeah, why did I say District 19? I think I'm losing it. I might be losing it, people. Or maybe it's just lack of sleep. Could be lack of sleep. I'm hoping it's actually lack of sleep. It's like if that orb or I was going to talk about orbs actually, because you know I actually put a question up yesterday, or was it today? Today. But you know, are orbs generated by humans, not built by them, generated? Because you know, you've got these guys that and they appear to be credible, you know, scientists, actually. Anyway, they go down the beach with this guy who can summon orbs. And these orbs appear in front of them. So, is this some kind of paranormal mind trick thing? I don't know. I'd quite like to see it happen, you know. See, this is a problem because a lot of these things, they're not recorded on video. Nobody thinks to pull out their phone. Oh, wow, that was brilliant. I wish I'd taken a video of that. Or if they do pull out their phone, they get some kind of really shaky and blurry thing. I don't know how people get such bad video using mobile phones. Although my wife, she takes quite an extraordinary amount of pictures that are completely out of focus using an iPhone. I don't know how she does it. I really don't. And I keep saying to her, you know, if you're trying to read the ingredients on something by taking a picture of it and making it bigger, it might be better if it was in focus. But yeah. But yeah, I don't know how she achieves it. So yeah, maybe I don't know. There's just so much bullshit out there. You're wading through it, you're knee deep in it, you're waist deep in it, you're up to your neck in it. That's the problem. Especially just now, because Twitter's just overloaded with crap. Absolute, complete and utter crap. And as I said, it does no one any favours on it, whether you're And I wouldn't even say I'm trying to debunk it. What I'm trying to do is find evidence to give me a clue. I'm not finding it. That's the problem. I'm not finding evidence because people seem to think that somebody telling them something is evidence, and no, it's not, because people are the worst source of evidence, because people make stuff up all the time and then convince themselves it's true. And then you get people saying, well, these guys have been in front of a congressional hearing. If they were lying, they'd be in the jail. Really? Really? Guess how many criminals go to court and lie and don't get put in the jail? Yeah? Guess how many cops go to court and lie and don't get put in the jail? People lie all the time, but the good ones convince themselves they're not lying because they've went over the story in their head that many times that they've convinced themselves that it's now true. And that's what people do. In fact, you can go on YouTube and find psychiatrists and psychologists and things saying, you know, if you want to have a good, happy life, go back to your bad memories and redo them in your head so as they come out with a positive outcome. You know, don't remember them as bad things. Change them so as they're good things, and then you'll be a happier person. And I'm thinking to myself, hold on a minute. I thought the whole idea of bad things happening to you was so you learned from them and didn't repeat them. So if you go back and rewire your memory, which is malleable, right? Your memory is not fixed. You can go back and you can rewire it, and you can generate, you know, you can tell yourself that this actually happened in this way and you didn't get hurt that badly and everything was fine, you know. If you do that, what's to stop you doing it again? What's to stop you getting caught out again, you know? I think that's negating experience, surely. Why would one do that? All for a quiet life, all to be content, all to be nannied. Yeah. See, this is the problem. It seems to be that you're not allowed to have any contention. I mean, look at, what's his name, that guy Greg Wallace, right? I mean, I have no regard for the guy whatsoever. I think he's a bit creepy and weird looking, and he's maybe got, he is definitely socially awkward because he does make stupid jokes. But then again, so do a lot of people. I mean, so do I. I mean, just, you see that one where I was absolutely gutting myself about the guy that managed to shoot his mate in a recreation of the Pulp Fiction thing. I still laugh at that. That's incredible. But anyway, yeah. So the thing is, why? But, right, where were we? What were we talking about? I've lost it now. I remember that guy shooting his mate with SMG or something like that by mistake. Whoops. That's going to sting in the morning. Let's just kick him out of the car. Yeah, right. Okay. So yeah, we're back to things like credibility and why when you tell yourself something's not that bad, you're effectively rewriting your experience. I don't think that's a good idea. I really don't. I might be wrong. Hey, maybe that's how people deal with things, but you know, you're not better to face up to your fears, or you're not better to face up to things that you did wrong and go, yeah, if that happens, I'll know not to do that again. Yeah. I kind of think that's how it should be. But, hey, you know what? I was talking about Greg Wallace, wasn't I? So, yeah. So what? You know, he makes inappropriate jokes. People have been doing this for tens of years. And you know who sometimes the worst people are? Women. See, when you're in see, when you're in a group of women and you're the only guy, it's non-fucking stop. And you either develop a thick skin or you go away and chew your pillow all night, crying softly to yourself. You know? I mean, really? Get a grip, people. This is the problem. Everybody's so fucking such a victim these days. It really does my nut in. Stop being a victim, because these people deliberately seem to go out and put themselves up there as victims. And then, of course, everybody else, especially Kirsty Allsop, jumps on the bandwagon. What is it with that woman? Everything that's happened to her, you know? But anyway, yeah. Where are we? Right. David Wilcox is good at making names up. Yeah, he probably is. Jabba Jabba says Gary Nolan to be very credible. Gary Nolan. I'm not sure who Gary Nolan is. I need to check him out. Snapple Grapple just got a light smear. Well, that's it. That's what happens. Video is probably going to go worse, mate, because that needs more light, you know. No one in UFO world is credible, but they are great con men and great entertainers. Well, some of them are, yeah, that's true. That James Fox, Jerry McCorbell. Did you see? I watched James Fox's documentary, The Phenomenon, and I was phenomenally unimpressed by it. It was pretty pathetic. You know, he went down to Brazil and wandered around talking to people. And, you know, trust me, bro, doesn't cut it when it comes to evidence. You need proper evidence. I mean, there's nothing wrong with witness testimony if it's backed up by good, solid, you know, artifacts, video, that's of a less questionable nature, maybe even photographs, you know, if you can prove the provenance of them, but or multiple testimony from independent people. That's the problem. Getting it from independent people is the issue, because nearly every time that someone sees a UFO or a UAP or whatever, they're with their mate, you know, and that people embellish things all the time. I mean, look at Elizondo. I mean, you've I don't know if you've seen my video about him, but he did everything in the army and the intelligence corps, according to him, in 9 years, including the army's Great Skills program, which is a mega program. I just can't see it. I can't see it. And he never mentions his rank. Then he leaves the army and starts working for the DoD as a civilian contractor, and the Pentagon say no, he had absolutely nothing to do with ATIP, which ATIP was only a nickname for OSAP, and I can tell you why it was a nickname for OSAP. In fact, you need to watch the video about that. It'll be coming, because OSAP is just incredible what these people got up to with public money. And then the money was pulled in 2010. The program wrapped up in 2012, and then Elizondo kept it going in his head, because he was never part of it to start with, and he just kept it going in his head. He had no money, he had no resources, he had no staff. If there was an ATIP program from 2012 to 2017, it existed completely in Elizondo's head. That's my view. And you know what? Nobody can prove that wrong, because there's no documentation to say it existed. And the Pentagon are quite categorically saying he had nothing to do with ATIP. Schnapple Grapple's fascinated by the Manchester Ball UFO film by the pilot. I'm not. Yeah. Right, first of all, the pilot. Well, the guy that posted the stuff wasn't the pilot. Right? That's Captain Bigelow. He wasn't the pilot. So he's that's a social media account that was created to post that stuff, but that's not the pilot. The only video from the pilot is the one where you see a part of the dashboard of the plane when you're seeing the ball in the air. You know that video. The shots of the balloon on the ground are not taken from an aircraft cockpit. It's not high enough. It's not the same. It's not taken from the same source. So I don't know where the shots on the ground were taken from, but they weren't taken from the A320 or whatever that the video was taken from. So big problems already. And then of course they say it's not been photoshopped, it's been AI enhanced. Well, that's just letting AI do the photoshopping for you. So you've now got things and artifacts on the ball that probably don't exist. Because AI is doing its best to make something out of nothing, and you've only got a certain degree of information there. If you can't see the information and you start making it up, then you might as well give up at that point. What's the point? So that's my view. Yeah. No, it's not. I mean, I know it sounds credible, schnapple grapple, but when you dig into these things, there's always these big flaws in them. That's the problem. So many different things happening. Like different account. Not the guy that took the video. The thing happened in June the 19th. It didn't happen recently. And you can see that because the weather's a lot different from now. It's a lot brighter, and yeah, it was probably raining, but Manchester, does it not rain there all the time anyway? It's like if you're on the west coast, Wales, Manchester, Liverpool, west coast of Scotland, it must be one of the wettest places in the world. It really must be. I was looking at these forensic things that you get online that are free. These photographic things to check if they're CGI or not. They're not that great, right? And the guy that actually wrote it does admit that it needs a lot of work before it's up to any kind of real forensic ability, so don't take anything you see run through these things as gospel. And of course the problem then is if the whole thing was generated from AI, it wouldn't look like it had been faked because it would be a complete generation. But one of the big giveaways for the Manchester thing is that there doesn't appear to be any metadata for the photographs, which that's a bit poor. So where's the original photographs? Because that means they're not the originals. Right, what's Unmitigated saying? They ruined a man's life just to keep experimental craft a secret from a known patriot ally. Yeah, they would. Yeah, of course they would. I mean, and they've done more than that. You've really got to consider what happened to David Kelly, and even not big names like that. There was a guy who worked for the council in Argyll and Bute, and he was just bullied by his boss until he took his own life. And that's corporate bullying. That's just as bad. That's not to hide anything. That's just because the guy didn't like him. That's pretty sick. Espresso Mechanic says he's an arch skeptic. I think you've got to be these days. You've got to be an arch skeptic with everything these days, though, don't you? Because there's just too many people trying to take advantage of you. I think you've really got to be skeptical. I get to the point that I need to know someone pretty well before I'll trust what they say without question. Yeah. And even then, sometimes I question them. I don't have a lot of friends. Where are we now? Oh, we had two people on watching at the same time on the other channel there. That was good. Well, it's not the other channel. I mean, when I'm talking to you, it's exactly the same channel. It's exactly the same picture. It's just in a different format. I think it looks quite good in the vertical. I'll give you that. But and Joey, you've seen it, so you let me know how good it does look. Yeah, anyone stripping XF data is super suspicious. I agree, Schnapple Grapple. Video is not evidence now either, unfortunately. But exactly, that's the problem. You know, it used to be believe half of what you hear. No, believe half of what you see and nothing of what you hear. Now it's like, don't believe anything. Take nothing at face value until you can get some kind of independent verification, and it gets harder and harder. You know, especially with AI, that's really going to screw things up. I mean, what's it going to be like in 40, 50 years' time? How are people going to know what actually happened in history? Because everything's going to get rewritten, isn't it? I mean, we already did it anyway when we won things. You know, if you won the war, the only history that goes down is the winners' history, not the losers. And if people try and bring out the losers' history, they end up castigated or worse. You know, like that guy, what's his name, David? The self-confessed denier. You know, he ended up in jail in Austria because he published a book. But yeah, crazy. And then think about the people that claim to be able to cure certain diseases. David Thaler, I think. He ended up in jail in the UK and then was extradited to France because he was on. And I don't understand this. His company was in Jersey. I don't know why he got extradited to France and put in a French jail. I don't even know if the guy's out yet. All because he seemed to have a product that could cure a disease that starts with a C. And, you know, I know that maybe things are put in place to stop people taking advantage of people. But if you have to put a law in to say that you cannot claim to be able to cure something, regardless of your evidence, then that, to me, is a massive red flag. You know, you've got to legislate for something. That's a massive red flag. I don't see anything changing. I think things will get worse. We had a reprieve from propaganda in the States after World War II. Yeah, but look at it now. What's it like now? They were still running ops. They just weren't as bald-faced about it. Yeah. I mean, what was it they used to say? They used to say that the FBI needed an event every 6 weeks to keep their funding up. So I don't know if they still do. I don't know if they still have things like that. But, you know, some of the things that happen in the States, and, you know, a lot of the FBI things are stings, and you've got to be very careful when you're starting to induce people to do things as part of a sting, because how do you know that people would even do that thing if you hadn't been there encouraging them and telling them to do it? That's why you're not really allowed to do these kind of things in the UK. But for some reason, the Americans are a lot more lax about it. And you're allowed to run stings, and the FBI will basically encourage people to go and make, you know, an IED or whatever, and then lock them up for it. It's not quite how things are supposed to work, you know. Uh, I see so many people falling for the most obvious AI videos on Instagram, but then I catch myself seeing short videos of Trump and having to look extremely closely to determine if it is just top tier AI. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean because I was watching a speech by Starmer the other day and I'm thinking, is this real? Is this real? Or has someone made an AI speech, And it's like it's ridiculous. It really is. You've got to second guess yourself. It'll get to the point that if you're not live and you don't have independent people there with you to verify that you're live, then nobody's going to believe you. Yeah, possibly. The tech will screw us over, Julie. Yeah, it will do. And yet, when you go back and think about things, when you look at people in the 50s and 60s and 70s, they had the same fears. And they moaned about the same kind of things, the the disruption to the society, the dissolution of society as they know it, the fall of civilization, the drop in standards. I mean, they had the same things. It's just their standards were probably higher than ours, and our standards are getting lower and lower. But yeah, I mean, and then go back to like 1930s Berlin, the rise of decadence, and I mean that was a pretty creepy time as well, wasn't it? Uh, it always seems worse when you're living it. I think because you look back at the 70s and when you think about it, when you think back at what it was actually like, you knew there was the ever present fear of nuclear war. Uh, but you tried to put it to the back of your mind. But you did get things like threads on TV and, what to do if a nuclear war. I remember that get the mattresses and some plywood and build a cupboard under the stairs. And thinking about it, this is just nuts. It's nuts. It wouldn't make any difference. All you'd do would prolong everything by a nanosecond. You'd be better standing outside and watching it go off. It's just absolutely crazy. Yeah. Uh, the 70s wasn't grim at all. I had a brilliant time in the 70s. Growing up in the 70s as a kid was a scream. I mean, I remember. I mean, the things that you used to do that people just don't. They can't believe how different things were. It's just absolutely incredible. And it's like I was saying the other day. Somebody was going on about, oh, if you'd grown up in the 90s, they were talking to like a millennial or Gen Z or whatever. If you'd grown up in the 90s, we used to soak, watermelon and all this, and they gave her like a cocktail of like, these alcohol pop type things. We used to soak in these and have and drink and eat them at parties and things. I'm like, mate. In the 70s, we used to inject neat vodka into oranges and take them on our rugby game at school for the halftime orange. We would have medicine bottles full of vodka for the bus. Every rugby game I played, I was half cut. It's just nuts. It was a good laugh though. But yeah. Oh, good grief. Oh. Danny Polishuk. AI fake videos are funny. Yeah, I don't know who he is. Need to have a look at that. My concern with super advanced AI is it's basically creating paranoid schizophrenics if you have to question every single day if what you're seeing is real. Well, that's true. That is true. But are you paranoid? Just because you have to question whether something's real or not, that doesn't necessarily make you paranoid because you're not necessarily thinking that people are out to get you. Now, while you may not think they're out to get you, they may well be. But just because you are not paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you. Yeah, okay. Yeah. But the 70s and 80s were that like that as well. And then of course there was the 80s with the miners' strike and all that. And I mean it's like there's a guy on Twitter called JC who's I think he's a dance instructor, but I think he works as well. But he keeps going on about he doesn't see any dip in the economy, right? Because he's all right, you know. But if you're all right, you don't see a dip in the economy, you know. And you can walk around and you can see people buying stuff, but that doesn't mean there's not a dip in the economy. And it doesn't mean that certain groups of people aren't badly affected. Because people think, they seem to think that there's no real problem unless they themselves are directly affected. But that's not always the case, you know. I think you've got to cast your net a bit wider than your immediate surroundings, even when it comes to like looking at shops and things like that. I mean, I went out on Friday to get some stuff for the wife for the baking that she was doing. She was making a cake for someone. And I was astounded by how busy it was. And I goes, the shops are absolutely mobbed. And she goes, yeah, it's Black Friday. And I'm going, oh God, so it was, you know. And then I'm thinking, why was Iceland mobbed? I don't think Iceland does Black Friday. But it's probably just a knock-on effect of everybody being out, so they'd go into Iceland and grab something, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah, I'm all right, Jack, is the usual attitude for JC. It's just Harold. I haven't seen you on Twitter much, Harold. Are you still around, eh? So the unmitigated mind says if it's on the screen, don't trust it. Act only on information that is going to affect you directly and stay calm and deliberate in your actions. Don't react unless it is necessary. Iceland is always mobbed, says Harold. Oh, I've got a sore head. Oh. I've been trying to speak to the doctor because they changed my medication and I don't think it's agreeing with me. I've been trying to talk to the doctor and I'm still waiting on a phone call back. The whole thing's ridiculous. What happened to being able to make an appointment with a doctor? You know, it's like phone at 8 o'clock, and if you don't get through it, it's like, oh, all the appointments have gone for the day. Well, could you not make me an appointment for tomorrow? No. Why? I don't understand that. I really don't understand why you can't go and get an appointment with a doctor. It's just crazy. GPs are nuts, mate. It's got to the point, if you actually have something wrong with you that needs fairly reasonable, timely intervention, you know, you might as well just go up to the hospital. Because there's no point in going to the GP. They won't help you anyway. They'll send you to the hospital. So, yeah. But anyway, right. How long have we been on? Good God. We've been on for well over an hour. Yes, right. So, there we go. I think that's been a successful test. Well, it's been successful for my end. I don't know what it's been like for you guys, but I hope you've enjoyed yourself. And I hope we have a quiet invasion tomorrow. I don't want it to be too disruptive. Don't want to upset people. Maybe it'll be quite low key. Maybe they'll just replace the leaders and we won't even know it's happened. That would be quite good, wouldn't it? Or would it? Could they be any worse? Could they be any worse? Right. Thank you very much, people. It's been lovely. Been lovely. And it's been great for you. Good night, everyone.